Is it really over for the Fresh and Fit podcast? I, MrShowTym, most certainly hope not. Welcome back to the MrShowTym showcast. The Fresh and Fit podcast is currently undergoing some turbulence with regards to the stability of their co-hosts, Myron and Fresh and Fit. Look, these two gentlemen are star players, X Factor key players in the red pill manosphere space. Okay, they're trendsetters on multiple levels, a couple of levels, right? What's this fake spin-off version of Fresh and Fit, the whatever podcast? Okay, we have certain other content creators who've copied their blueprint of bringing girls, on a bunch of girls, a bunch of Tatianas around the table, and basically holding them accountable and whatnot. Also at the same time, these two gentlemen, but more so Myron, he's a trendsetter because he's opened up the floodgates for the rest of the popular big names in the influencer space to sort of latch onto. And I'm talking about the infamous JQ. Okay? Thanks to Nick Fuentes, which really was initiated by Kanye West. Yay, right? When he went on this tirade, going to podcast after podcast after podcast, exposing the Jewish supremacy that goes on in Hollywood, and Nick Fuentes and Milo in Yiannopoulos, the managers, right? The right hand, his right hand men, Nick Fuentes and Milo in Yiannopoulos. Nick Fuentes, he explained it in depth. That video, that interview that went viral. Him was over in London with pasty pearly things, and it wasn't a perfect, smooth interview because some controversies came about, right? And also, Nick Fuentes got hosted on Fresh and Fit, debating destiny, and yeah, he basically they were JQ also along with Sneeko. They were JQing, so that video got Fresh and Fit in some hot water in terms of the YouTube algorithm gods, so to speak, right? The overlords. Now, lately there's been, it's not clear and obvious. It's not set in stone, and I hope it won't be. But Fresh has been over at Mr. Organic's podcast, and he's been voicing out and expressing his dissatisfaction of the direction the Fresh and Fit podcast has seen itself. Demonetization, haters like Abba and Preach, H3, what's H3 something, Ethan, whatnot. They're haters and they are celebrating. They're hoping, crossing their fingers, hoping and praying that, Fresh and Fit would break up. And this is how you know how powerful Fresh and Fit are in this space. So on one side, you have Myron, who has his own individual talents as a former federal agent. He has his own spin-off channel talking about, Fed Reacts, documentaries, of crime breakdowns and documentaries, right? And you have Walter Weeks, Fresh, who doesn't seem to have the same aspirations, who's not really on the same page as some of us are. The same page of, resetting the matrix, challenging the ancient Smiths. Fresh, he prefers to just talk about girls. And while there's nothing wrong with that, I'm just stating that we're not really on the same page, but you don't always have to be on the same page to create like a phenomenal tag team partnership. I mean, Fresh and Fit started somewhere around 2019, 2018. Sorry, 2020, and they've skyrocketed since. And they are very relevant. They're very relevant. They are. Now, I don't agree, and this is coming from a person, I've criticized Fresh and Fit myself. I don't agree with everything that Fresh and Fit says. I don't agree with their scandalous conduct. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. Okay? Look, the more haters you have, that means you're doing something right. Shout out to the late great Kevin Simons. The late Kevin Simons had all kinds of haters, on his way to, relevancy. People call them all kinds of skittles and flamboyancy, of which he might have been, but what's the overall net effect? What's the net result? The overall result was positive. And Fresh and Fit deserves that same credence. What's the overall impact of Fresh and Fit? It's positive. They focus on men's improvement, how to manage your finances. Yes, I don't like how Myron associates with those who have self-admitted to be PDF, to engage, who have alluded to engage in PDF file behavior. And I'm talking about John Zerker. Okay? Now, Fresh, again, coming back to Fresh, he's been dropping hints here and there of his dissatisfaction of them being demonetized and losing millions, as he said, which lets you know that Fresh is all about the money. Okay? It's all about the chicks, the women, the cars, Fresh Prince CEO, balling, the baller lifestyle. And that's not really going to impact the world. That's not going to change the world for the better. Okay? Now, it's easy towing the line, so to speak, not talking about certain issues, staying away from certain people that have been banned on every single social media platform known to man. Okay? Understand something. There are consequences to telling the truth. Because if there were no consequences to telling the truth, everyone would do it. And this is where we separate the boys from the men. The lukewarm ones from the real ones. There's certain people talking about, certain content creators who are somewhat up there in the northern countries of Africa, who talking about who do video after video after video talking about, Myron got his ninja wake-up call, and they're celebrating, Serves him right, he gonna get his ninja wake-up call. Again, I don't agree. Nobody agrees with everyone on everything. But this is where Myron, you have to respect the guy's tenacity. You have to respect the guy's audacity. And I'm not talking about his controversial tirade on Twitter, flinging all sorts of racial slurs to everyone, but the guy is a trendsetter, okay? he's the one that opened up the floodgates to the JQ. And again, Fresh has said, yeah, he wasn't happy about certain people, Myron platforming certain people, and the suspected Myron didn't outright mention the person's name. It's between Zerka and Nick Fuentes. And I suspect that the guy in question is Nick Fuentes. Even Nick Fuentes expressed that, hey, listen, yeah, Fresh doesn't like me very much. He's kind of like iffy about me. He sees me as a as a brand risk. I understand. Yes, Nick Fuentes is a brand risk. You platform, you so much as touch Nick Fuentes, you will turn to stone. Figuratively speaking, your platform, your YouTube channel will turn to stone. This is the risk. I believe in high risk, high reward. Okay? Venturing into dangerous territories, you're gonna get plenty of cuts. You're gonna get hit with all sorts of arrows. You're gonna have like a whole collection of arrows sticking from your back and bleeding. But in the end, like Super Mario, start from the beginning, stage 1, world 1 of 1, you go, jump over the Goombas, boop, boop, land on them, you go inside the pipes, the dirty pipes, come out on the other side, those little ducks, the little shells are dangerous, you have to avoid them, jump over them, and then you reach the final stage, the final boss, Bowser. Okay? If you have the fireball power up thingy, you fling the fireballs, and then you hit Bowser enough time, and then he falls into the volcano, and then you take the axe and then Bowser falls into the volcano, and then you get to save the princess. It's a difficult journey. There are consequences to tell the truth. Facing a Matrix agent, the Agent Smiths. The Agent Smiths are very powerful. They're not supposed to be easy. Because everyone will do it. And this is why I say this is what separates the boys from the men. I'm one of the few who are willing to stand with Myron with regards to this particular aspect. Challenging the Agent Smiths. I mean, shout out to my FreshAndFit. FreshAndFit, along with others, have been, I think, like a couple of years ago, along with Andrew Tate, have been mentioned, been put out on some sort of like shit list by either the FBI or the CIA. Talking about, these guys are, misinformation, disinformation, spreading misinformation, whatnot. They're on the shit list. Okay? That's commendable. You have to go through the hardships to get to the final boss and win. And Myron has proven time and time again that he's willing to platform. So Myron is not about the money. Myron is not about the money. Myron is willing to sacrifice life and limb to defeat the Agent Smiths. The guy, FreshAndFit, has been deplatformed, and I understand it's not easy, okay? I'm pretty sure they've had tough conversations behind the scenes, conversations that are not for the public. I hope they're not too harsh, but I understand. This is the thing, like, on one side, Myron, Fresh, say that, hey, look, Myron, we were doing so well, we're making millions, bro. We're making millions. We was balling up in this piece. I want to get laid. I want to, drive Lamborghinis. You see, Myron, Fresh is all about the money. He's not on the same page as us. Him and Sneeko had this little moment when Sneeko was invited over to FreshAndFit, and Fresh was talking about, if you talk about certain subjects, they platform you. They platform you. And then Sneeko was like, yeah, that's what it takes to tell the truth. I mean, and then Fresh was like, but don't you regret it? I mean, you lose everything. And then Sneeko was like, yeah, I mean, he expected it. That's what he expected when he wasn't surprised when he lost his channel. I mean, He didn't like it. It wasn't nice. He lost money. But he endeavors on telling the truth. And he's willing to die on that particular hill. Fresh is not on the same page as some of us are. And I'm pretty sure he has some talent to offer. He has sprinkled his opinions here and there about, the Agent Smiths being responsible for the end of the world. Yeah, but overall, Fresh is not about... He doesn't intend on challenging the Matrix agents. We are willing to platform... Well, I'm a small channel for now. Myron is willing to platform certain controversial figures, even if it's at the cost of losing millions, so to speak. And hey, listen, Fresh and Fit has been kicked out from their old apartment and they've moved into a new one. And guess what? It's expensive. Miami Beach, those apartments, they're not cheap, they're expensive. And shout out to Myron. He has other sources of income, such as, his real estate business and whatnot. So he's able to float above the surface with his chin barely above sea level. Shout out to him. I mean, hey, Andrew Tate was willing to be thrown in the slammer in Yale for telling the truth. Look at it. Look at the results. He's one of the most famous people. He was the most searched man on Google. Folks, there are consequences to telling the truth. Don't think that you're gonna start a podcast and then you're gonna do some cooking channel and you think that I left a mark, a legacy onto the world. No, nobody cares about that. If you wanna have some meaningless cooking channel, even if you have like a bajillion views, that's not you impacting the channel. As a matter of fact, nothing will happen to you. You can start some cooking channel, some fitness program. Yeah, no, the Agent Smiths are not threatened by that. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, at least you're not talking about exposing us. But if you follow the path of Kanye, Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, MrShowTym, yeah, then it's game on. Then you start to feel the heat coming on. And at that point, it's a test of will. Are you willing to withstand the heat until the clock runs out? How much can you take and keep moving forward? And for that, I have to respect Myron. There was a time, remember, Candace Owens, I'm looking at you too, Hot Twins, and some of the other ones, other big names. Before Fresh and Fit platformed Nick Fuentes, y'all were ducking and dodging and weaving. Like Neo dodging the bullets in Matrix bullet time, like talking about the JQ. And now even the Hot Twins are like, it's these Jews. Yeah. Yeah, because it's safe now. It's safe now. But before that, I remember the way you talk, the way you try like hint at it, but you refuse to say it. You too, Candace. I have to hold you accountable. I'll sing your praises. I'll sing your praises. But let's be honest. While you were under the Daily Wire, Candace, under working for the Agent Smiths, being sponsored by the Wilkes brothers, these billionaires, Wilkes brothers from Texas or whatever. You couldn't afford to talk about the JQ because Ben Shapiro was like, watch yourself, girl. And the Israel-Palestine massacre happened, Hamas, October 7th happened, and you got your ninja wake-up call when you saw alluded that, there's a reason why Hamas did that because, the Palestinians were deprived of resources and the little tiny Gaza Strip, and when you suppress people for so long, at some point they're going to retaliate. Of course. Ben Shapiro didn't take too kindly of that. The people that are like these undercover agent Smiths, Piers Morgan, there's nothing that justifies the Hamas terrorist attack. Nothing. Like, yeah, all these big names, they're not free. Okay? They are for sale. Piers Morgan can't afford to do a butt turn and say, yeah, listen, Israel, yeah, you are the world's bully. You can't afford to say that. Piers Morgan his channel is successful. The #1 British influencer. Yeah, he's not going to talk about that. I mean, he's a journalist. Technically, as a journalist, you're supposed to be impartial, to be in the middle and report on honest facts. I'm not saying Piers Morgan should take sides, no. But you should be impartial and be objective. Now, when Piers Morgan debated Andrew Tate, he was like on the left-hand side of the spectrum, pro-Israel. But thank God, now Trump made Israel and Palestinians succumb to an agreement of a ceasefire on both sides. Now I want you to know something. The pro-Palestinians are happy. I'm happy for the pro-Palestinians. Why? Because now that means no more loss of lives. No more loss of lives. Okay? It's sort of like it's more so a win for Palestine. Okay? Because no more loss of lives. But notice the pro-Israelites, the pro-Israel guys. They want to neglect everything, every reason, the build-up to October 7th. They're just like, no. All they say is die, 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 Hamas. That's not being a humanitarian. That's being a savage. You're being a savage. So you just want to say these pro-Palestinians and a lot of the guys in the political realm, your Pete headsets, and a lot of your Republicans, your conservatives, they're just on this die, die, die rhetoric. Die, 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 Hamas. They're terrorists. Why are they terrorists? Hamas is the lesser evil between the two. The IDF was warned that, hey, listen, Hamas is up to something, and they ignored it. Benjamin Netanyahu is an anti-Semite. Why? Because he allowed a massacre to happen to the people of Israel. This could have been easily avoided. But the IDF, Benjamin Netanyahu, he allowed this to happen to his own people of Israel. So indirectly, Benjamin Netanyahu committed a genocide on the people of Israel for allowing this thing to pan out, for allowing it to happen. Why? They wanted Hamas to attack so that Israel can ensue a genocide, and it's sort of like this mass slaughter. What is the result? Casualties on both sides. Whereas if Israel allowed for a two-state solution to be, I doubt things would have panned out the way they did. But of course, even with this ceasefire, it's only temporary. Without Trump, even if Trump, after Trump's term, they're just going to go back to square one. They're just going to ensue violence. The IDF is just going to ensue violence once again. Rinse, recycle, repeat. And of course, as the Bible says, what point is there for a man to inherit the entire world, yet you lose his soul? A lot of these guys who are getting clout, getting mentioned in articles, oh, you're the New York's bestseller. Yeah, these are pro-Israel. They can't afford to be against Israel. because they'll be troublesome. Nick Fuentes, respect to Nick Fuentes. He was willing to lose everything. Myron was willing to lose everything. But again, hey, listen. Now that it's safe, now that the coast is clear, now you hear everyone and their mother JQing. Yeah, it's these U's, it's these Agent Smiths, Hodge twins. Where were you before? And a lot of them, they still condemn Nick Fuentes. They disavow Nick Fuentes. He's a white, he's a premise. He's a white premised. You guys are not real enough. And it's Myron who's willing to bear the burden of being cancelled, losing money, being demonetized. Somehow he's still getting invites because, you know, he's relevant. It's lucrative to have Myron on. Shout out to him. He built both Walter and Andrew Myron. They built up their brand to such a way, to such a degree. But I'm just letting you know, man. If you want to join us, okay, this thing is not for fun. It's not for fun. Think very carefully if you're gonna venture on this dangerous quest to fight and defeat an Agent Smith. Be prepared to lose everything. Hopefully you won't lose everything, but be prepared for the worst. And I, MrShowTym, am proud to take up that mantle and join the fray as well. Which is why, Fresh and Fit, if you're watching this, hey, listen, man, I'm not with you in your apartments. I don't know the conversations we have behind closed doors, but I do hope that you keep it together, lads. Okay? I hope you keep it together. You've been watching this far. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, the Matrix has you. Follow the white rabbit. And don't fall for the psyops. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.
Away.